Hello, Shalom Aleichem. Welcome back to another installment in this series, Sefer Jonah, verse by verse, select commentaries. This week we're doing Jonah 1, verse 10, with the commentary of Rabbeinu Bachya. Again, this series is a companion to my exclusive series for my Patreon supporters, Sefer Jonah, verse by verse. In that series, we go through every verse of Jonah on more or less a weekly basis, and we explain every point of grammar in that verse. So what that is meant to be is something of a bridge for the student to help them get beyond the textbook style learning and actually get them involved in working and digesting an actual biblical text in its entirety. Anyway, if that's something that interests you, I wish you would consider becoming a supporter over on Patreon. Support at any level, even as little as $1 a month, will gain you access to that series. Okay, without further ado, let's get going. Okay, as I mentioned, we are doing the verse this week with the comment of Rabbeinu Bachya. Sometimes, especially in Ashkenazi circles, he might be referred to as Rabbeinu Bachya. He is not to be confused with another Rabbeinu Bachya, also of Spanish extraction. The famous author of the Chavot Halavavot, the Duties of the Heart, is a very fine book of ethical teachings. So same first name, but nevertheless two different people. Okay, his full name was Bachya ben Asher ibn Haloah. Okay, Arabic name, Ibn. His years are 1255 to 1340. Here's a very fine Wikipedia article concerning his life and work. He is something of a philosopher, a mystic, an ethicist, and a biblical commentator. All those things rolled into one. Great example of the eclectic style of the period. Okay, let's get on to the verse. Okay, here we go. Let's go ahead and read the Hebrew a couple times here. V'yiru ha'anashim yira gadola v'yomru elav ma zot asita ki yadu ha'anashim ki milifnei Hashem hu voreach ki higid lahem. One more time. V'yiru ha'anashim yira gadola v'yomru elav ma zot asita Ki yadu ha'anashim ki milifnei Hashem hu voreach ki higid lahem. Okay, translate. Excuse me. V'yiru ha'anashim yira gadola. The men, the sailors, they feared a great fear. V'yomru, and they said, elav, to him, Ma zot asita, what is this that you have done? Ki yadu, because ha'anashim, because the men knew, ki milifnei Hashem hu voreach, that from before Hashem he was running. Ki, because higid lahem, because he had told them. Okay, so this calls into question, ki higid lahem, where, excuse me, where do we find such a telling in the previous verses? The answer is we don't. So we can go one of two different ways. So one way is that there was, so to speak, there was a discussion, sort of off camera, so to speak, that Jonah had told the sailors that he was running from Hashem. And that he was the cause of all this situation. And this is the approach of several of the commentators on this verse, with the Radak and the Ibn Ezra, both commentators that we've seen previously, with them saying that there was, again, so to speak, some off-camera dialogue going on here. The Rabbeinu Bachya takes a different approach. Let's see how he explains this. So he explains, Uferish, and the explanation, Higi lehem, when the verse says, because he had told them. What does that mean? Metoch hadavarim shehigid lehem yadu kihu vorech. In the midst of the words that he had told them, they knew that he was running. Uma shehigid lehem, and what did he say to them? What was it he said to them? Shematocho yadu zehu. And what was it he said to them that in the midst of those words they were able to extrapolate that he was running? Shamar, like it says in the previous verse 1:9, Ve'et Hashem Elo Hey Hashemayim Ani Yoreh. And it is Hashem, the God of the heavens, that I fear. Vehem Havinu Mizeh, and they understood from this, Kihu Barech, that he was running. The Kaven Shehavinu Zeh, Mitok Devarov, and since they understood this from the midst of his words, Chashru Atzmam Chatoim, they considered themselves to be like sinners. Chatoim can mean sinners. It could also mean merely something to the extent of like in error, like they had erred greatly. How so? V'chatam, and their sin was, their error was, shekibluhu ba'aniyah, that they took him at all onto the boat. V'lochu haschar, and they took the schar mimenu from him, the fare. Took his money, essentially. Hu hagorm kol harahazos. Why? Because he was the cause of all of this great evil, all this great, very dangerous and stressful situation. It was Jonah that had caused that. So they had erred just by taking him on. And of course, how could they have known? But nevertheless, they accounted it that this was some sort of error on their part, at least according to the words of Rabbeinu Bachya. So, that's interesting. So he chooses the path that there was no off-camera dialogue here. That what they just understood from the framing of the previous discussions, the previous verses, that the sailors had intuited that Jonah was running from Hashem. It's almost as if he's protesting too much, that it's Hashem, that's the God of the heavens, that he fears. It's almost as if he's trying to wrap his error in some degree of piety. And according to Rabbeinu Bachya, the sailors saw through that and saw that what he was, in fact, was actually running from Hashem. Okay, I hope that was interesting. We'll hopefully see you next week. Another commentator, another verse. Kol Tuv, Hatzlacha Rabba. Keep learning.